Anyways, chat, let's start talking about some of these things. Master Duel Forbidden Limited List Update. Master Duel has announced the Forbidden Limited List Update. It will be implemented on April 30th. This is a particularly important update to the Master Duel ban list because this is going to be the ban list that we will play and use for the World Championship qualifiers. Oh, they're starting... Okay, usually we're starting with like the cards that are being banned and whatnot, but they're starting with cards to be unlimited here. Unless it's only unlimits. Kagari from 2 to 3. I think that's fair, just based off of the fact that Sky Striker has been like nowhere to be seen. I don't remember the last time I have faced Sky Striker, and I'm gonna be honest, whenever I play Sky Striker in Master Duel, which I rarely do these days, but I did a bunch back in the day, I always enjoy my time playing Sky Striker. I like the deck. I think it's cool. I'm all here for Sky Striker being a thing again. I'm not sure if 2 to 3 Kagari even makes a difference, because let's be real, modern Yu-Gi-Oh! The games end way too quickly anyways for Sky Striker to be like a good deck, because Sky Striker really lives off of like playing the game for multiple turns, you know, get repeated value. I don't think you very often get to the point where you can summon the third Kagari. So I don't think the third actually matters that much, but that's justified. Thunder Dragon Hawk from 2 to 3. I never understood why this card was on the ban list. I think if anything is toxic about Thunder Dragon, it's Colossus. Thunder Dragon Hawk was always a fine card. Tenki from 2 to 3. I guess it's fair. I'm a fan of these searchers being somewhere on the ban list because such generic search cards being unlimited limits card design a little bit, because if they make a powerful Beast Warrior, it's going to be way too consistent in your opening hand. But I think judging from like the play rate of, let's be real, at this point in time, it's only really Tri-Brigade. It is simply nowhere, so it's fine. Darkworm, I like what they're doing here. They're decluttering the ban list of cards that are like not really seeing play, giving them a fair chance to seeing play again. That's a good thing. Like none of these cards actually, if you look at any of the play rates and win rates of the decks and these cards individually, they have no business being on the ban list, in my opinion. So this is all fine. Okay, cards to be semi-limited. Change of Heart. Ooh. Now, I'm a fan of Change of Heart. I think Change of Heart is a dope card that in the context of 2023 Yu-Gi-Oh! Is actually okay, you know, which is kind of crazy to think about with how crazy of a card that used to be. But I think Change of Heart is a good card, but not too powerful, so I don't hate this, especially in a Master Duel best of one environment. Putting Change of Heart into your deck is a pretty big commitment in terms of, you know, the card is pretty bad going first in most cases. So that's fair. Yeah, that's fine. I'm looking forward to this. I think there might definitely be a time where this card sees play, but I'm a fan of this. I like that. Okay, cool. Is there more semi-limits? There's not. Cards to be limited. King of the Swamp. Why did they limit King of the Swamp? That's like... Nah, that does not make any sense. That is completely ridiculous. This card is not even good in tier. You should not be playing this card. Okay, I have 2 theories. The first theory is that they are trying to create like a pseudo hit to tier limits, because so far this is the only hit to tier limits. We'll go later down the line. We'll see if there's more changes, but it seems like a pseudo hit to they're like, hey, look, we hit the fusion deck, guys, be happy. The second theory is they're actually trying to do you guys a favor, or like do the casuals a favor, because this card is not good in tier limits. So they're stopping you. They're actively making your decks better by forcing you to take out your King of the Swamps. So please say thank you to Konami for making your decks better. Okay? They are just on the lookout for you guys. They're trying to actively make your decks better. They're like, hey, I see a lot of you guys playing 3 King of the Swamp. Just stop doing that, right? Just stop doing that. And you even get your CP back, right? If you crafted King of the Swamps, you even get your CP back. Isn't that just nice? They're like, hey, you know what? I saw you craft those King of the Swamps. I saw you put them into the tier limit deck. I think both of those things were a mistake. You know, take it out of the tier deck. Take back your CP. Make a better card with it. There you go. Very nice. Very cool. Wholesome. Wholesome Konami here. Okay. Foolish Burial Goods. Interesting. Now, this is a weird change but I can't say that I don't fully understand it. I think Foolish Burial Goods is a very strong card that has a lot of different uses and also in a way does limit design space, right? Because they've been doing a lot with like graveyard effects on spells and traps. That's a very, very useful design tool, I think, that they are using to make trap cards better, which I'm a big fan of, by the way. This is completely besides this hit, but like I'm a big fan of designing trap cards with graveyard effects. The reason why I like that is because it gives you a reason to play those cards even when you go second, because you can do things like discard them for card effects, because trap cards suck when you go second. Giving it a graveyard effect and you get value from it, I think that's a pretty good design choice to make trap cards better in general. But like in terms of Foolish Burial Goods, if you keep making better and better trap cards with graveyard effects, then eventually Foolish Burial Goods will just end up being a very universally strong card in the same way that Foolish Burial is, right? The more good graveyard effects they made, the stronger Foolish Burial got, and eventually the card needed to be limited, which is like eventually is like, I don't know, 14 years ago or some shit. This actually, I think, is a significant hit to the consistency of Tearlaments. I did end up putting 3 Foolish Burial Goods in my Tearlament deck after playing it for a while in Master Duel. I don't know if that was the perfect version of the deck, but I felt like with only 2 of each of the tier names, consistency was lacking a little bit in terms of opening hand consistency with 1 Pearl Rhino and only 6 other Tearlament names that are not Rhino Heart. I did end up putting Foolish Burial Goods into my deck to send like Rainbow Bridge to find the field spell, which is incredibly strong, or to send Saliak to grab a monster, or to send Scream to grab a trap card if I already have a playable hand. Goods is a very versatile card, especially in the context of Tearlaments, so I think that's a fine change. I'm guessing that both of these hits are trying to hit Tearlaments without actually hitting Tearlament cards, because Tearlament cards are very, very new and they've already preemptively hit them on the ban list. It'd be super weird to like release Tearlaments with a preemptive ban list and then 1 week later ban even more of the Tearlaments, because why would you not do that on the preemptive ban list, right? Like, so like I'm not expecting, I see Newly Forbidden down here at the very bottom of the screen. I'm not actually expecting any Tearlament names to be there. Like I think it would be hella weird to like ban Kid Kalos now, right? Because that thing came out a week ago and they already limited it preemptively. It would make no sense. I think they basically set themselves the rule of we're not actually hitting Tearlament cards even further, but we're hitting some of the other cards that they are pairing with Tearlaments. So like King of the Swamp, Foolish Burial Goods, I guess kind of makes sense in that regard. And Newly Forbidden, aha! Okay, story checks out. Story checks out. That's exactly the same concept. That's beautiful. That is exactly what I was just talking about, right? That is hitting Tearlaments without hitting Tearlament cards. That's great. I wish the TCG did that. You can say about Master Duel having a different format, or Master Duel being a couple months behind. You can say about that whatever you want, but while Tearlament was meta in the TCG, everyone asked for this. 99% of the community asked for Instant Fusion to be banned while we had Tearlaments, and Master Duel is doing it. Master Duel is doing exactly what you guys asked for, while what we didn't get in the TCG, Master Duel is doing right in this sense. That's great. Now we get to experience Tearlaments, but we don't have to suffer through Instant Fusion being the nutty card that it is. This goes right down the same vein as like what I'd said about Foolish Burial Goods. Instant Fusion being in the game limits the design on fusion monsters. In the TCG, I'm already worried about that new like B-Trooper fusion, because Instant Fusion makes it busted, right? And it's like Instant Fusion is now banned, so they can safely create like level 5 fusion monsters without them having to think about Instant Fusion being a completely cracked card. That's cool. Is that it? That is it. Okay. I think this is a fair list. I'm not disappointed by this one at all. In the context of Master Duel, where we get monthly updates, this is completely fine, right? They released Tearlaments a week ago, so I don't think it is time yet to complain about Tearlaments. I really don't think so. The Ishizu cards and the Tearlament cards will be on the ban list sooner rather than later, I think. You don't have to worry about it. I think next month or in 2 months, you're going to see hits to those cards for sure. But right at release time, when they've already released them with a preemptive ban list, I don't think it was necessary or warranted to to immediately slaughter the deck. What this does is it weakens the deck a little bit by hitting some consistency cards like Goods, and it bans one of the most notoriously like broken cards in tier limits, which is Instant Fusion. So that's fine. It makes tier limit a little bit fairer, and it gives other decks a couple more tools to play with to maybe compete at lower ranks with like tier limit players that are maybe not as experienced. So that's fine. The only thing I don't get is King of the Swamp. I don't understand that one. I don't know about you guys. I saw a lot of people in chat being like a little bit disappointed maybe because it does so little, but I think every time I do this, I just have to remind myself, and I feel like I also have to remind you guys, that this is Master Duel, where this is not the last ban list for like 3 or 4 months, right? Like it would be in the TCG. This is Master Duel, where the next ban list is just probably a month away. So like chill. Tier limits and Ishizus will be on here soon enough, and that's that. Okay, cool.